So, what if the absolute best measure of your health isn't something you can find on a lab report? Today, we're going to dive into the work of Dr. Ni Haixia. His classical and honestly pretty revolutionary view of the human body might just change how you think about what it means to be healthy. I mean, think about it. When you hear the word health, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's numbers, right? Cholesterol, blood pressure, A1C. But we're about to explore a completely different way to look at well-being, one that's all about listening to your body's own signals, instead of just a printout from a lab.
All right, so let's get right into the foundational principle. At the absolute heart of this classical approach is a concept you've probably heard of, but maybe not quite like this. We're talking about yin and yang, but as a practical, everyday tool for understanding your health.
Yeah, forget all the abstract, kind of mystical ideas you might have about yin and yang. In Dr. Ni's system, it's incredibly down to earth. You can think of yin as the body's coolness and its physical substance, and yang, that's its function, its heat, its get-up-and-go energy. So true health isn't some static number on a report. It's the constant dynamic dance between these two forces. And this right here really shows you the core difference. On one hand, you have an approach that looks at you from the outside in, relying on technology and data. But on the other hand, this classical approach looks at you from the inside out, trusting that your body is constantly sending you clear signals about its own state of balance.
So you're probably wondering, how can I apply this, like, right now? Well, Dr. Ni actually defined what he called a balanced person with a set of really simple, tangible standards that, anyone can check for themselves. Let's run through them.
Okay, just take a second to look at these. They might seem almost too simple, right? But each one is a direct window into your internal balance. I mean, warm hands and feet, that shows your yang energy. Your heat is actually reaching your extremities. Falling asleep easily, that's your yang smoothly retreating into yin for the night to let you rest and repair. Good appetite, smooth digestion, it's all pointing to the strength of your internal fire. They're not just random signs, they are vital data points. So this brings up a really critical question. If health is all about balance, then what is disease? Well, from this classical viewpoint, the answer isn't what most of us have been taught. It's not really about fighting off something from the outside. Now get this. This is a radical idea for so many of us. We're constantly told to add more stuff, more supplements, more vitamins, more superfoods. But Dr. Ni warns that the real enemy is excess. It's the accumulation of things inside your body that just shouldn't be there. He believed that chronic disease begins when the body loses its ability to clear things out.
And to understand that accumulation, we have to talk about yang qi. Just think of yang qi as the sun in your body's own little solar system. It's the heat, it's the metabolic fire, it's the energy that keeps all your internal rivers from freezing over. It drives your circulation, your digestion, everything. So when this fire starts to dim, well, things start to slow down and stagnate.
This here lays out the entire disease process from that perspective. It's a chain reaction, and it starts from within. First, the body's engine, that yang qi, loses power. Then, because the engine is weak, things start to back up. Cold fluids and metabolic junk, what they call yin accumulations, begin to build up. And eventually, that internal traffic jam can actually solidify into a physical mass that we'd call a tumor or a cyst. So, if the root of the problem is a weak internal fire and all this cold waste building up, the solution becomes pretty elegant and really logical. You don't just attack the accumulation, you've got to reignite the fire. And this is the core treatment philosophy, Fu Yang, which literally means supporting the yang. The goal isn't to poison the tumor or surgically cut out the blockage. No, the idea is to restore the body's own internal environment to one of warmth and movement so that the body can clear out the accumulation all by itself. So, how is this actually done in practice? Well, the approach often involves using powerfully warming herbs to basically turn the body's thermostat back up. And the lifestyle advice is just as critical. You got to stop pouring cold water on your internal fire with things like iced drinks and raw foods. The analogy is just perfect. If you can make your internal environment warm enough, the ice of a tumor or a cyst can simply melt away. Okay, so let's bring this all back together. We started out by asking whether health is just a set of numbers. And I think with this classical framework in mind, we can see that the answer is a resounding no. And this is maybe the most empowering takeaway of all. You are the primary observer of your own health. This philosophy suggests that your own personal experience, do I feel warm? Am I sleeping well? Do I actually have energy? Is the most reliable, the most immediate health report you could possibly get. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? It's a return to the absolute basics. Before we start worrying about all these complex biomarkers, the very first question should be, are my fundamental bodily functions actually working smoothly? If the answer is yes, then from this perspective, you are truly healthy. And that leaves us with one last, and I think vital question. It's really an invitation to stop looking outside for all the answers and to start listening to the one expert you live with every single day. So instead of only asking, what do my numbers say? Maybe the most important question is, what is my body telling me?